What's up, motherfuckers? Alright, I got some new stuff. And my kit is now the biggest it has ever been. So I'm going to give you a nice tour through here and show you everything I got and how I put it together. And hopefully I don't mumble too much and, you know, not talk good. Well, I think we're off to a bad start. Alright, I'll show you the first thing I got, which doesn't seem like much, but this thing right here. It's a 4-inch cymbal extension from Gibraltar. Now, oh, this is a 6-inch splash cymbal. First time I ever had a 6-inch. So that's pretty exciting. Look how small it is. Alright, anyways, when you get these, they come like this. Alright, where this is on the bottom, this little disc piece. So, I take that, apply this over the felt of the first cymbal you use, and then you can control the tension with just how much you screw it on. Because that was the first gripe I heard, was that these things, you lose any wing nut ability to clamp down your first cymbal. You gotta kind of think a little bit. So borrow this, the little metal piece, use that. Here I got a stack cymbal. Right? And we got that goes there. That goes there. Boom. Look at that shit. Yeah. So that's my first little new trinket. So now I have easy access to a small stack cymbal over here. And this is a cracked Wuhan splash. And we have an 8-inch cracked Wuhan splash on top. Bottom one is 10, by the way. So so there's that. I also got another 8-inch Wuhan splash. Both of these are $20. So you really can't go wrong because they don't sound too bad and they're cheap. Next thing I got is this thing right here. Meinl, the medium bell, 8 inches. There. Alright, so now I'll just go through everything. Okay, I'll start with all the toms first. Here we got, these are called rototoms. This is the 6-inch and an 8-inch. It also came with a 10-inch, but too much space to justify, so I took it off. Otherwise it just wouldn't work over here. This is my ghetto Mike Portnoy village. It's my little business going on over here. So the way these work is control the pitch by turning them. So, got that going on. Here we got 8x8, 10x8, 12x10, and I think it's like 16x16. Okay. Bass drum, 20 inches. I think it's 18 inches deep. Now the reason I got a 20 is my previous kit, I had a 22, and I think I sit pretty low compared to most people. And I could never get my toms where I wanted them without having an issue with the clearance. If I really wanted them where I wanted, it would be in the bass drum. So getting a 20-inch was a good chance for me to cheat the system and get these where I needed them with my seating height. Everything worked out better. Not perfect, but better. All the heads are Remo Emperors. Those are my head of choice for toms. This here is an Aquarian, classic clear. I mean, it gets to a point where when I try to throw everything together like this, I have to just use whatever I have. And if I got a shitty old drum head laying around, I will use it. Okay, snare. This is a Thai brass 14x5. Remo Black X is my head of choice for snare heads. Here we got a Stag SH medium crash 16. 16-inch Wuhan traditional crash. This is a 17-inch Wuhan. Okay. They're not the greatest, but they're not bad. And I go through a lot of cymbals, and I can't afford to pay, you know, $250, $300 for great cymbals. So if you're looking to get cymbals and you break a lot, and you want something that doesn't sound like a dinner plate, look into Wuhan. And I don't say that as an endorsement. I've tried, and they don't do endorsements, but I mean, come on, where are you going to get a freaking cymbal for 60, 70 bucks? Same with your China. This is 18-inch Wuhan China. Again, they cost $60, $70, and they're the best China I've ever had. You'll find variances. Every one is different. Some are more explosive than others, but you really can't go wrong. They do break quick, but they're fucking 70 bucks, you know? They sound good. That's good enough for me. Hi-hats, 13-inch Zildjian Dino Beats. We have a K series, and on the bottom it's a Z. And you can they're interchangeable. So if you want, you know, kind of like a softer, drier, you can use the K. If you want like a clicky, pingy, you got that for an option. So that was a good choice. Oh, this stack I got here is, well, partly it's the Mike Portnoy Max stacks, the 10-inch. The China part is from that. This is a cracked Wuhan Splash, 8 inches on top. I'm telling you, don't throw anything away. Someday it's going to turn into something that could sound good. Right? So, all these are 2 crack splashes. This is a crack splash and a little China. Yeah. Okay. 20-inch Zildjian Ping Ride. And I'm starting to see Lars's point of view. This thing is just in the way, you know? As I was trying to make my ghetto Portnoy village, it's like, look at this. Show me how you feel. It's like, okay, you're sitting down, you see all this shit, and it's like, whoa, alright, talk about options. You know, this is going good. Oh. And that's a tambourine, in case I need it. So, it's like, alright, looking nice. Looking nice. Well, yeah, okay. Oh man, what the fuck is this? All this fucking space. What am I gonna do? You know, like, I had a choice. I mean, I could always put a tom here, but because of my seating height, that ain't gonna work, so it has to be up, which means all this would have to change. So all this would have to change. Everything would have to change because I'd have a tom here. And if I had a tom there, this thing would be way the fuck over here. I don't want that. So, this is what I'm left with. Because I have my access to play here. LP Rock Ridge Rider cowbell right here. Managed to squeeze that in. My lower stack right here. I made this so long ago. This is a cracked Wuhan 16-inch crash on the bottom. This is a Sabian B8 China. It was originally an 18-inch. It had a crack, so I cut around it with like a pair of freaking tin snips or whatever. And right down near the lip. So now it just rests on top of a cracked crash cymbal. And there you have it. Alright. My side hats here are Sabian B8 Pros 14s. I got these in like 1995, 96, something like that. So, did I show you everything? Oh, bass drum. We got I just switched these back. I used these for the longest time. Basically, the first 3 years of my videos, I was using these. These are Tama Iron Cobra Juniors. I think they're also called Tama Power Glides, but they're Iron Cobra, but a cheaper version. And I'm just going for another feel. I get sick of the way things feel, and I feel like I get in a rut. So I think, if I change my equipment, I'll feel better. That means I'll play better. And there we go. Maybe the other way around, but there goes that talking shit. This here is a Gibraltar click pad. And this essentially has like a plastic disc behind it. And plastic beaters. Right? Gives you a nice clicky sound. And I wanted that kind of like triggery, like kind of bass drum you hear on the albums. And I thought, well, this is the best way to do it. So, highly recommend those. If you have hard beaters, it'll work out for you. Ellie, shut up! It's so hard to make a video when you have dogs, especially little barking fucks. You guys are familiar with Ellie, right? You've seen her in the TROPSNART YOJ shirts and covers and shit. Well, I have the pedal right over here. That is a Pearl Eliminator power shifter. I've been using that since the blister exists, up until my next video where I just swapped it up with this. See, the reason I'm going back to these is if you watch that drumless drum solo, I'm using these, and I was hitting. This was my bass drum. Okay, so really it's just a table. And I got a drum head in here. Give it the firmness, and that was it. And then I had a shitty bass drum hoop that I clamped it onto, and it was literally just resting against the table. And I thought, boy, this pedal actually feels pretty good for playing a fucking box that's flapping in the wind. It felt pretty good. So it's back on the kit now. Until I think, oh man, this thing fucking sucks. I'm horrible at double bass. I need to change, which happens every 10-15 minutes. I want to show you how this stuff fits together, because this thing right here basically spawned a 2-week rage fest where I had to change every aspect of every stand in every single way to find a combination where I can get everything up here where it is. It was fucking bullshit. The drum set is a Thai Pro X. Okay? T-A-Y-E. I'm gonna turn my snare off so I quit. Seems like my voice has that perfect sound for going Fucking bottom of the snare. Anyways, the mounting system on these drums had these rings, so all the drums can float freely, which is kind of cool. But the problem with them, if they're used on the top like they're designed to do, well, then you got maybe an 1.5 inch gap between this and the drum. So if you wanted to put the next one right next to it, you're going to come into a conflict because the other one has it. So now you got basically 3-inch gap between the drums. And I just remember seeing kits like that when I was a kid and thinking, that is bullshit. You don't have space between your freaking toms like that. So you either have to cleverly use the mounting, you know, like a stand mount for the tom. You'd have to put them angled certain ways, which dictates the way your kit's gonna lay out. And it just never worked out for me. So I put them on the bottom. That gives me a chance to, one, mount them lower than I would have, and it gets these things out of the way. So I can have my drums closer together. It makes more sense over here, right? As you can see, there are the, you know, the mounting rims, whatever you want to call them. They're on the bottom. So here we go. So basically, this is seen as like my center crash. You know, in reality, my bass drum is right here, but this is the center of my kit. I play a single bass drum kit as if I have two bass drums, right? Where the perspective is split down the center, as opposed to being like this. You know what I mean? I always wanted two toms. I don't want them here. I want them here, right? Okay. So the tom gets mounted to the hi-hat stand. Okay. So that's one piece. Then we got this, the tambourine, and this is great. Look at that. This is from my first drum set in 1992, the stand. You can tell she's pretty heavy duty, right? And I got wires down here because the freaking screw came out and I can't find the right size screw to make it work. So I just put wires in there so it at least doesn't push through, but it still shakes. Oh man. This was my biggest accomplishment as far as getting this to work. So here we have my cymbal stand right here. Okay. I got a cymbal, well, basically it's an add-on to the boom stand that has an opening for another stand, which fit the pole that belonged on my rototoms. My rototoms and my crash cymbal are all combined. Okay, so that was nice. There was so much that went into getting that lined up perfectly. And then I had the nerve to squeeze my mic stand in right here so I could get at this, get at these, get at that without trying to get much out of the hi-hat, which is hard. I got two separate stands for the splash cymbals. Okay, but yeah, toms are mounted to my center cymbal stand. Okay, here we got the original piece that was in here for the toms, and I took a broken cymbal stand, which right now would be just wobbly as fuck if it wasn't clamped down right here. I essentially had this clamped down there as a necessity so the stand will work. I mean, when I say ghetto Mike Portnoy Village, I mean it, you know? It looks nice, but it's all really low rent, and I'm getting by on mostly cheap equipment, which I can appreciate that. It's kind of fun. I'm not like a top of the line dude. No, you can get by without it. Here we have another tom mount. I use that for the cowbell. So I was really happy with that. That worked out. Managed to have clearance for my ride cymbal. Okay. And nothing's very interesting over here besides my floor tom is mounted to a hi-hat stand, which I don't really use as a hi-hat stand in the sense I don't use the pedal. But not like I really need it anyways. So I have my hi-hat mounted here. This used to be just a typical cymbal stand. And eventually I thought, no, I got a freaking spare. You know, I think this is the original tie hardware that came with the kit. And I thought, okay, use another tom mount. Here you go. Here's a good example of that ring. You can see it as it was intended. Okay, so it gives it the sense that everything's free floating that way. But you can imagine if you had to put another one right next to it, then you got that much space. Can't have that shit, man. That's like when you see a drum set demo of somebody who doesn't play the drums and they want to just display them for a picture and the toms are really far apart. That's not practical. Anybody out there that has their toms really far apart, stop it! It's fucking disgusting, man. You can't show all this shit off and just leave. You know? So